guys, thanks for tuning in. It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Mattel 2022 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Jurassic Park Hammond collection. Honestly, I don't know if it has an official name, but it's the T-Rex escaping and eats the lawyer Donald Gennaro while he was sitting on a toilet. Honestly, a pretty impactful scene in the movie, as it was the first time that we saw on camera a dinosaur eating a human. Now, we had seen dinosaurs eating and attacking humans in the past, but it was always off screen. This was that shocking moment when Gennaro ran away from the car and the kids and tried to hide in an outhouse, only to be discovered by the T-Rex, who inquisitively looked at him and then proceeded to eat him. And while that sounds hilarious, like I said, that specific scene was very powerful and set the tone of how dangerous these animals really are. Now, for the package, as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, they're able to do a little bit more than what they would have released in a regular Hammond collection. As you can see, you got the gorgeous gates with Jurassic Park right there in the front. You can see a pteranodon flying around. You got the jungle. You got the flames. Absolutely gorgeous. Top section here is that gorgeous Jurassic Park logo that we all know and love. Come around to the back, and it is basically the same thing. But you also do have a inner package that this just slides up and off. And again, a lot of times the packaging that Mattel does with these almost makes you not want to open it, because this looks spectacular. You have the T-Rex right there with Donald sitting on a toilet with a whole scene done up here to kind of look like he's in the jungle, including a lot of these little lines that make it look like it's raining. Now, what's really cool, again, as an exclusive, they're able to do a little bit extra. So you can come around here, you got a little whole section right there, and a button that you can push, and you can hear the thunder, the lightning. You hear Rexy, kind of like, what is happening? And then proceeding to basically eat Donald. This is a gorgeous set that, if you are a Mitten Box collector, this is one that a lot of people would really like. Now, I am not, but I am going to have to get a second one of these, just because when you come around to the back of the package, you can see the destroyed fence that Rexy escaped from. Again, you got a lot of the jungle motif going on here. You have a warning section right here that says, during the trial run of Jurassic Park, Donald Gennaro ends up courting disaster when he frantically flees from his vehicle in hopes of hiding from the Tyrannosaurus Rex. However, he learns the true meaning of when nature calls during this bathroom breakdown, where his objective is clearly overruled. So I guess maybe the set's actually called Bathroom Breakout, which, you know, it's probably better than what I said. But absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'm trying to look here. I don't necessarily think that that's a Hammond collection. I mean, it might be a Hammond collection figure. They really aren't that different than some of the regular 3 3/4 inch figures that we've gotten. But this version of Rexy actually is the Hammond collection Rexy. It does have a slightly different paint scheme, which to my eyes mostly looks like it's dark, kind of replicating how she looked as she was wet from the rain. But for the packaging on this set, that's about it. I've been waiting to get this opened up for a while, so without further ado, let's get this out here and see how cool it actually is. And here we have the new Outhouse set opened up and out of its packaging. And this is a terrific set. Now, granted, as I talked about, this is basically a repaint of the Hammond collection T-Rex that has already slowly been hitting retail. But for me, I had not found that figure yet. So while I was at Comic-Con, I was kind of going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to pick up this set. But I ultimately decided to, because A, I didn't have this figure, and B, we do not know if they're going to release an individual figure of Donald Gennaro in the future. For the most part, they do. But for example, the Mr. Arnold figure that came out a couple years ago never got a 3 3/4 inch release. So I didn't want to miss out on it. And like I said, I was always going to get the Hammond Collection Rexy just in general. So this was a great opportunity. Now, starting off first with some of the accessories and things like that, you get this really nice little T-Rex paddock sign. Yeah, I love it. It says, no feeding. I guess unless it's a goat. But you can see you got the Isla Sorna right there, or I'm sorry, Isla Nublar right there, the T-Rex logo, you got the little camera section. I like it. It's a nice little added piece. One thing that I will say is that this set's a little bit more involved than I thought it would be. What you have here is the entire outhouse. Now, this outer section here, you can see this is just, it's all done out of cardboard, but this piece right here is a separate piece. You got these little slots underneath here that you're just going to line up, put on there. I don't think I had that lined up properly. That's a little bit tricky to do. There we go. You're just going to connect that in there. You also do have a door right there with the restroom logo. But this whole thing lifts up, and you can see that you can actually open the door if you really wanted to. One thing that's amazing, I don't know how well you're going to see it. Maybe if I take this off. But on the inside here, you can actually see a roll of toilet paper printed on there. And on the back, toilet seat covers. I think that's fantastic. But all the way around, it's really nicely detailed. Like I said, even on the inside. Now, in the movie, the T-Rex actually was chasing Ian Malcolm. So let's bring in Ian, because that's going to be necessary. And then ended up crashing into the bathroom where Donald Gennaro was sitting there. As you can see, I have him right here. And this is what we saw in the actual package. So getting this was a bit of a surprise. I didn't actually know it. It is a fairly thick piece of cardboard, but it is cardboard nonetheless. But all the way around, like I showed you, nicely detailed. You got this little straw section here. You got the bamboo. You got the ferns around the side and everything. But when the T-Rex did crash into this outhouse, it did knock off the entire thing. This entire thing went flying away. So you do also have this around here, which isn't necessarily accurate. You really should remove this as well, because it was just this section that we basically saw. But you can add that on there just kind of as a little added piece. Of course, you do have Donald right there. I just have him kind of hanging out here, sitting down. Let me get him straightened up. Now, in terms of his accessories, throughout the entire movie, he was carrying this little briefcase sort of thing. And he did take it with him when he went on his little trip to go around Jurassic Park. He just had that there, and he was carrying it around. He's a lawyer, so, I mean, he's probably going to have a whole bunch of papers and things like that. He also does come with a little fedora type of thing. You can get that on there very nicely. I don't know if that looks about right. Again, he was wearing that, and I think that they, again, did a really great job. Coming in to take a closer look, the likeness actually is really very well done getting that off there. I mean, that looks really very good for the most part. If I can keep it focused, I'm quite impressed with it. This is definitely a Hammond collection figure, mostly because you can tell with the added articulation that's in them, which is really very, very nice to see. So you do get his little briefcase. You also do get his little hat. Outfit looks fantastic when you look all the way around again, coming back in. I don't know why I zoomed out, but you can see that the outfit looks really good. You got some nice striping and everything on his actual shirt. The tie actually, I don't know, can I get even closer with that? That tie actually has some nice printed on detail as well, but you can see the pinstripes. And again, I mean, that's a really good likeness to him for the most part. I mean, on 3 3/4 inch scale, that's pretty good. You got a little, I don't even know what that is. I mean, he did have it, but I like how they actually carried the paint applications and everything down to the lower section. Like, that looks really cool. You got his belt. He's wearing his little shorts there, showing off his legs. He is wearing these little penny loafer sort of things, which do look pretty good for the most part. Kind of weird looking, just in general, but it is what he was wearing, so pretty decent. Articulation wise, the head is on a ball joint, although it's really stiff. I mean, is that a ball joint, or is it just like a hinge? I don't know. I'm trying to, oh wait, maybe I don't want to do that. But that seemed a little bit dangerous, but it does rotate, but I do think it is just a ball joint sort of thing. So you get that articulation. You have a pin hinge joint here for the shoulders. You can rotate that all the way around.
pin hinge joint for the elbow. Wrists do move forward and back. And again, this is what I was going to talk about, where you can tell that this is definitely a Hammond collection figure. So maybe they will release him in the future, just because this is a fully articulated 3 3/4 inch figure, which is nice to see. You'd have a ball joint here at the hips, or sorry, at the waist, the forward and back, in and out at the hips itself. You do have 2 bends here at the knee. Granted, it does make the knee look really big and very ugly. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a weird sort of thing, just in general with those legs and such. And then you do have a forward and back ankle bend, and then you also do have an ankle pivot. Now, one thing that is nice is here on the toilet, I just love it. You do have a little peg hole right here, so you can put his foot in there and help to kind of balance him and just kind of get him to be securely fastened to the seat. I mean, it's not overly necessary, because I mean, you could see that you can just literally just sit him there, and he does perfectly fine. I'm just going to kind of bend the knees, get a decent pose for him. But, I mean, you can definitely see that you can get him sitting there perfectly fine. But that just adds a little extra, I guess, stability to him sitting on the toilet. Just the fact that we have a figure that comes with a toilet is amazing. And then, of course, you can be like, oh my god, no, don't eat me. Toilet-wise, it is, I mean, this is a pretty heavy piece, actually. The batteries are in there, and it does look really nice. You got the little sound clip right here, and you got the lights and the flashing sounds. That looks... What's happening? So, I mean, all the sounds and everything. Oh. That sounds a little bit different. And then again, you can take this, you can collapse this down, and it will kind of rest along the side right here. And then you can just have an outhouse with some like flashing lights in there. But you can see that the toilet here is pretty nicely detailed. It is a harder plastic. It doesn't have, you need to stop doing it. It doesn't have any articulation or anything of that nature. It is just what it is. And like I said, it's just meant to kind of be something like that. I mean, you can set that off to the side, just kind of making it look like this guy kind of got like thrown in there or something like that. No, you couldn't see any of that. So you can set that there. Let me redo that. And you can have Ian Malcolm do like, ah! But for Donald Gennaro, there you go. Here is Rexy, though. Now, when you get her out of the package, the tail does have to be attached. But this is a great figure. Really very nice. One thing that is definitely noticeable is the much darker color on her. Now, some people have complained about it. I don't mind it really, honestly, all that much. Because as I said, this was meant to replicate a scene where it was raining and it was definitely dark. So her skin is going to be darker because it's going to be wet. But also because of it, it does kind of give an impression of Rexy at a later time in her life, like in the Jurassic World era. This is the Rexy that came out. This is the Devourer one where you got like the open mouth. So you can see that there is a kind of similarity between the coloring. Just going to kind of set this off to the back for right now. So you can see that the coloring is very similar, but scaling-wise, I think that the Hammond Collection one is much better. Obviously, this is designed to have the mouth so that you can put a human character in there. So I don't really mind the coloring of it, but it definitely does give more of that Jurassic World color because of the darkness. One thing that they have kind of shown is that as Rexy has gotten older, her skin has gotten darker, which definitely, as you can see, is the case. The other thing that people really kind of point out is the eye coloring here. Now, coming in, you can see that the newer one here has a much more yellow eye, whereas this one still has yellow, but you can see that it, again, is much darker in terms of the overall appearance. I know that the regular Hammond Collection one has eyes that are more like that, but again, very dark scene. And if you actually go back and rewatch it, the only time that the eyes are really lit up are when the kids are inside the car and I think it's Lex shines a light inside her eye, which makes it light up. So I think, again, the coloring makes sense for the scene that they're trying to recreate here. And as this is my first time actually playing with the Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex, I'm absolutely impressed, and I can absolutely see myself buying that regular one as well. The detail on here is phenomenal. The sculpt work everywhere around with the ridges, the pitting, the coloring, all of it does look really very, very nice. You can see you have lighter browns, you have darker browns. Again, the skin element really comes through very cleanly with all the different wrinkles and folds and things of that nature. Now, you do get a couple of broken up areas where, like right here, this is a softer rubbery material, but to facilitate the wide range of articulation that this figure has, they have to have this little sleeve sort of thing right there. And she really is full of articulation. And then when you come to the tail section, again, much like a lot of those other Hammond Collection figures that we've seen, the back section here has a wire that goes through, so you can really kind of manipulate this and kind of get it in whatever kind of pose that you want. As for the rest, I mean, that is gorgeous. As for the rest of her articulation, some parts really do impress me. When you open her mouth, one thing that is amazing is these little tendon pieces on the inside actually fold in. They are a soft rubber. You can see, you can move those around, but as you close it, it folds. I don't know how well that you're going to be able to see it, but you can kind of see that it folds as you extend it all the way up. That fully extends, and it really does feel very fleshy, which is super, super cool. But that being said, you can also even articulate her tongue. That can move up and down as you see fit, and that is a softer material as well. I wish they kind of put a bendy wire in there, but they didn't. But great detail there with both the upper and lower section of the head. You have this joint right here, which is a ball joint, so you again get a full range of motion up, down, left, right, and then that's further enhanced by this back section here. So where this one goes so far, this one also goes a little bit further. And then you can see you also have this, I guess, diaphragm joint. That's also on a ball joint. So again, all that articulation is absolutely phenomenal to see. Come down to the arms. The little tiny T-Rex arms are also fully articulated. You have, let's see, that's really stiff. Does that actually bend in now? I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, that does. So you got a hinge section right here. That's just really stiff on mine. I'm not going to force that or anything like that, but it feels kind of stuck. But you can see the cut underneath there. That again, that's not really moving. And like I said, I don't want to damage her or anything. But the little elbows here, those are on pin hinge joints, so you can move those forward and back, and then also the wrists do move forward and back, in and out as well. So again, you get a full range of motion with her little tiny T-Rex arms, which is hilarious. These back legs, one thing that I will notice is that she does have kind of a balancing issue at times. You do have to really kind of play with the articulation in the legs. I'm just knocking stuff over. To really kind of get a good balance. You can see you got a nice in and out with them. They also move forward and back. There is also a locking point right here, so it's like it feels like that's kind of where they want you to put it, and then when you come down here to the knee, you have two bends here at the knee, so you can get a nice running pose. You also have this back ankle sort of thing. You also have a front ankle. All of these also rotate and move forward and back. Now, she does have big feet, but that is also kind of just part of the whole process in terms of creating a toy that's going to be able to balance pretty decently, but you can see that you can get her to stand fairly well, and again, just looks uber cool. When you come back to the tail section, this whole section here is on a ball joint. This is the part that you're going to connect to the main body when you get it out, but again, you can kind of see where everything kind of matches up because you get this softer color underneath with the darker color, so you know how to line it up fairly well. And then you also have a ball joint back here at the back section. One thing that I will note is you do kind of have like a separation here, which does kind of look ugly when you got that gap. That's a little unfortunate, but as I talked about, you can also manipulate her tail kind of however you want, so that's really cool as well. All in all, I'm really impressed with this set, and yes, you can take Donald. Now, see, this is what I was talking about. You have to really kind of balance things to kind of get the legs in a position that allows you to kind of get her to stand properly. So you can absolutely do something like this. Now, the mouth's not nearly as big But 100% you could do something like that. There we go. Well, I mean, it does get a little bit tricky to do. I mean, you could do it, but there you go. So, I'm a T-Rex, I'm eating a human. But you can see, like I said, the legs, you do have to kind of manipulate things to kind of get it properly set up. But there you go. So you can do that. Now, granted, a lot of the stuff that's inside here kind of seems to hamper some of it. Those like little tendrils, or not tendrils, those little tendons. But you can do something like that, I guess. I mean, as best as you possibly can. It's not nearly as good as probably the Devourer one that I showed, but you could definitely do something like that, and that's fun. I mean, really, it is a great set. Now, granted, it is like I said, a repaint one. Is it a set that I think a lot of collectors are going to want? I do think so. Mostly just because a lot of Jurassic collectors are kind of completionists, and having a... oh, there's another foot thing right there, so you can put 2 feet things right there. We go. Oh, that's nice to see. Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, there we go. Something like that. There we go. There we are. So, like I said, I definitely think that a lot of collectors will want to pick something like this up simply because it allows them the ability to get another character, for example. Also allows them to kind of get a variant of the T-Rex figure, character, whatever you want to really kind of refer to her as. I mean, for the most part, she is a character now. All in all, though, I think it is a good set. It is a pricey one. This ran $80 at San Diego Comic-Con. You could also pick it up on the Mattel Creations website. I don't think it's available anymore. I do think it's sold out. But I feel like $80 is pretty decent for an exclusive. I do believe the Hammond Collection T-Rex is probably about $40. You're going to pay another $15 or so for the Gennaro figure. And then the packaging, obviously, spruces things up as well, especially with the electronics in there. So I do think it's worth it if you are a big Jurassic Park fan. If you have that regular version, though, of Rexy, this might be one you want to pass on. But as I said, I hadn't gotten that one yet. So this was a great way for me to get the figure, get in another human character, and really just kind of have a good time. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. There's my look at the new 2022 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Jurassic Park Hammond Collection T-Rex eating Gennaro on a toilet seat set. I don't know. As always, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the review. And finally, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.